What is up, guys? Space Monk here. Today I'm going to give you the tools you need to make zero-point energy devices, replicator technology. We have right here a rough draft sketch blueprint of zero-point energy device. And these plates right here in the middle can generate heat just like our nuclear power plants can. And these orbs of light can transmute one element of matter into another without the use of wires or cables, and may also utilize transportation. Oh wait, no, it was one element of matter into another, and it can also teleport things. It can transport things without the use of wires or cables. So, how do you do that? How do you build that? You have to know these laws. Well, first of all, you have to wind the solenoid coils conically, amplifying the power in a certain fashion instead of cylindrically, and you utilize a high active zirconium Tesla coil around just a steel frame there, and you do this with knowing the laws of thermodynamics. And our current academic jokes have stacks and stacks of books for thermodynamics and all this. You don't need that. You just need the one page. You just need the 7 laws of thermodynamics to travel to the stars with teleporters. So, number 1, cold generates energy. Heat radiates energy. Cold multiplies. It cannot divide, for it is the fulcrum of the universe, which must extend to multiply. Heat divides. It cannot multiply, but can be multiplied. 2, every action must be preceded and followed by its equal and opposite reaction. Heat is the reaction of cold. Heat could not come into being save for the compressive action of cold, nor could it repeat itself without losing itself in basic cold. Law number 3. Cold is static, unchanging, and unconditioned. It eternally lives. Cold light is the basic one thing of this universe. Heat waves are dynamic, forever changing, and dually conditioned. They are eternally living and dying to simulate life. Number 4. Cold light is the omnipresent basis of universal intelligence and energy. Hot waves of light, which man calls matter, are a simulation of intelligence and energy. There is no intelligence or energy in matter. 5. Static cold and dynamic heat express their opposite energies at angles of 90 degrees from their axis of rotation. Cold retains its static, motionless condition along wave axes where motion ceases at points of maximum heat, while heat extends along equators to again expand as cold. This balanced interchanging completes the wave cycle. 6. Cold compresses. Cold multiplies cold to create heat. Heat expands to divide heat into cold. Varied pressures of heat constitute the octave color spectrum cycles and the octave chemical cycles of matter. Their varied wavelengths are the basis of your mathematics. 7. Long, low waves of low potential and high frequencies constitute the invisible spectrum and low-density gases, while short, high waves of high potential and low frequencies constitute the basis for high density. I might add a note from Germain. Says, "It is our hope that deep consideration of the consistency of these laws will point out to all workers in science the fact that the old laws have actually been but words to them and became a habit like a deep-seated tradition, for they have not followed them in their laboratory practices. Let us leave this portion, for I ask that you review until you memorize the preceding laws, for we shall be expanding on them." And get into sound and silence. I guess I didn't need that part. But I wanted to also go, so that is for the zero-point energy device. Just have to get this information out there. Sorry it's all rough. At least it's out. There it is. Gravity bar doesn't work like we thought. The gravity bar has 4 poles because there's a 0 in the center. It's not called a bar magnet. It's called a gravity bar. And then now I'd like to get into different elements of matter that we don't know exist yet. Apparently there are higher, this is how the periodic table should look, because sodium chloride would be level like this. The most stable element compounds are going to be side by side, and destabilization is going to be like this. You mix them in compounds. It's more useful in that way. And then plus, when you go up here, you have this is the way matter is created from out of zero, from out of the thin air, so to speak. And so we have gamma-non and beta-non and alpha-non in the first, second, and third octave. You see? So we need to realize what that's, how to get that going. The Russell periodic table of elements, Walter Russell gave to the world in 1926. And the way we get those elements and understand that science is by knowing the nature of the atom. Now let's look more carefully at the photograph of the atom and realize that it's hexagonal and stuff. And study it with us. Now we say 1. Observe that the complete atom is hexagonal. 2. The outside hexagons are very large and all other hexagons become repeatedly smaller. So you got very large hexagons and then become smaller. Observe that each atom, no matter how small, is surrounded by ripples which prove that they are water. And as we have stated before, nothing other than water and fire were ever created. We also stated that fire destroyed everything that was ever created and returned it back to its original static cold zero for repetition. Okay, there's some water, I guess. It's like surrounded by ripples of water. Kind of like Dr. Masaru Emoto's water crystal experiments, I suppose. We can affect the atoms through the water. Anyways, number 4. Let us further consider the incredibly and inconceivably small particle called the atom in the light of the seed. This means that the seed is a living thing, for it begins to pulse. All living things pulse, which means that they are breathing in and out. So this thing pulses and is breathing in and out. Okay. 5. Pulsing seeds grow larger. They call it a seed, I guess, instead of an atom. Pulsing seeds grow larger and larger. As they grow larger, they beget larger bodies of fathers and mothers. It's getting into the sex principle nature. Anyway, number 6. It is an interesting fact of nature that the father germ seed must be injected into the mother to produce pulsing life by motion. This is an added note here, in bold. All of the growth of the universe is finally returned by aeons of accumulated heat through the growth process of this curved universe, as outlined above, which repeats itself over and over again, for God will never cease to think. Okay. This being known, it is mathematically possible for science to measure pressures of every element in the entire octave series with computers and other finely attuned instruments, and establish unchangeable identities in any element, so that power projected to them would, as stated before, destroy their like identities even in far-off countries. Distance has no meaning whatsoever. This could be, so you could destroy any atom you want. You could anything made of atoms that you want to get rid of, nuclear waste, plastic in the oceans, toxins in the air, killing millions and hundreds of millions of people. Yeah, just target it, blow it up, or whatever. I think that just gave us that power. Then also, let's see, we got the laws. There was the nature of light I wanted to get into. Nature of light. So, once you understand that the atom can do and all that, let's see why it's like that, okay? It's because of the nature of light. Number 1, every effect is an optical effect. Number 2, every action, reaction, such as an inbreathing and outbreathing, compression and expansion, is two-way, not one-way, which means that this is a reciprocating, continuous, pendulum-swinging universe of rhythmically balanced interchange between the cold stillness of space and the compression-heated moving universe. Let me repeat that. It's not one way, which means that this is a reciprocating, continuous, pendulum-swinging universe of rhythmic, balanced interchange between the cold stillness of space and the compression-heated moving universe. Number 3, that it is a universe of repetitive uphill and downhill flow, and that the expanding universe is inconsistent with nature's processes. Number 4, that, as a consequence, the present laws of thermodynamics necessarily picture a dying, heat-death universe known as entropy, instead of an eternal one created by an eternal God. 5, that gravity is the controller of light, and that light is the one thing in all nature. Let me repeat that. 5, that gravity is the controller of light, and that light is the one thing in all nature. 6, that science has mistaken magnetism for gravity, and light waves are known as electricity. 7, finally, that every effect is a photographic effect made by opening and closing diaphragms of the cosmic camera, which makes this universe an optical, photosynthetic universe of gravity-controlled light, instead of the electromagnetic universe of the present era's concept. We might have added to this list that atoms, such as gammanon, betanon, and alphanon, which are yet to be discovered beneath helium there on the octaspectrums. The nature of the atom here, they are not solid spheres, but only empty ones with holes in them, which had to become closed before they could become solid. They, therefore, had no nuclei until they reached their wave amplitudes where they were united as one complete spectrum unit. They then divided into pairs where they could reproduce themselves as father and mother pairs of the sexed universe. We also might have laid more emphasis on the fact that although two curvatures were the only tools for creating this curved universe of matter, just one tool, the cube, is used for repeating these pulsations of interchanging between the two curvatures. So, while there's only one thing in all of matter, light, or there's only one thing in all of creation, the secret of creation lies within the light waves of motion. It's the cube nature of the physical compression and the physically dense realm that we're currently in, which gives rise to the necessity of building this device for our food replicators, let's just say that, for our food replicators and clothing replicators, unlimited heating and energy for our appliances. So once we build one device and get scientists to listen and computer programmers to be able to channel this device into the 3D replicator technology, making the atoms that we need right there on the spot out of thin air, so we could just 3D print anything we need. We'll just 3D print another replicator. We'll 3D print all the replicators and teleport them where we need them to go, and everyone can have a replicator and have everything we need. And I recommend just putting shields around everyone first, because it would be a Pandora's box and we might see pigs fly.